All right, lads, welcome to the Back Yourself podcast, here for the Round 7 preview. Your host, Chris, here to go through every single game upcoming in Round 7, the Easter round. So we have some common fixtures we get every single time, and we have some brand new fixtures that have put up a very, very good show. The NRL on Easter, staple. Let's get into Round 7. I wanted to start with that, but we're not going to just get into it, actually, because we're going to have to discuss these guys, my team, and, of course, my boy, Lachlan Galvin. Lots of news this week around Galvin. Obviously, he's not going to be at the club past 26. He's not even in the club right now because of the lineups this week. So we're going to start with him, and then we'll go through the game. So, obviously, if you guys haven't heard the news, you live under a rock. Lachlan Galvin was approached by the Tigers for $1 million per year for 5 years, totaling in $5 million. Knocked back, and whatever happened in that negotiations, Galvin basically said to the club, you know what, I'm testing the open market, see my value. Tigers were obviously not happy with that, went out and said, you know what, we're not going to keep Galvin. This is it. Galvin's not going to be a Tiger past 26. Galvin hit back with all the news around how he doesn't feel like he'll get to his potential with Benji, and there's so many news articles, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but that's the gist of it. And then Tigers hit back this week with obviously not having him in the squad at all, going to Parramatta on Easter Monday. I will give my opinion in two different perspectives. I'm going to go from the Tigers side, the board itself, and then I'll go from Galvin. Tigers themselves, all right, you gave it an offer. That's step one. Did they give the right offer? It was a little underpriced. And it's mad to say that I think a 19-year-old who's played one season is worth more than $1 million. But he is. We're in a competition that if you do not have good halves, you're just not there. And the teams without good halves feel it a lot. Warriors, Titans, Dragons to an extent. Who else? Cowboys don't have a good halfback. They have a good 5'8", but they don't have a good halfback. When you go through the teams that are at the bottom, they don't have good halves. And Parramatta, until this week, they don't have good halves. And that's the essence of this sport. You need to have a good half. So from a Tigers perspective, I think it's pretty underpriced. Hate to say it, Tigers, but I think you guys should have given a little bit more. Yes, it's expensive to pay for your halves, but look, let me double check. Galvin is 19. How old's Luai? Obviously, Luai had... The other thing which I didn't add was that Luai post which happened today, which was around teamwork and you know how they should stick together and etc. Which obviously Luai's 28, so Galvin's 19, he's 28. There's a lot of talk about the players not liking each other, but the main thing is Galvin not liking Benji. So from the Tigers side, should they play more straight up? Yes. Did they crack the whip too early as to he's not playing here? I don't think they did. Because, look, there's so many assumptions that I can do. But my assumption is they did that because they don't want to pay more than $1 million. Which is fine. Tigers can choose whatever way they want to pay. But the only reason you crack the whip and say he's not playing here anymore is because your offer was $1 million and that's it. There's no negotiation for Galvin. You'll never go to 1.1, 1.2. It's not going to happen. $1 million and that's it. So that's why they said, you know what, he's not playing here. And then, you know, obviously dropping him this week, fair enough. I think like everything Galvin on his side, we'll get to him now, but everything on his side resulted in that, so it is what it is. Galvin, little entitled. I don't think a 19-year-old should go cracking anyone that's 19 that listens to this podcast. He's 6 years older than me, younger than me. If I was offered $1 million, I would have taken it hand over fist, but he knows his worth. And you know what? How much is it him? How much is it his agent? How much is it his family? Who knows, right? But he knows his worth. I feel like at 19, it's a little bit different. I think the boys that when they grow up, they see 1.2 or 1, they're like, oh, I get taxed that much, it's not a big deal. But Galvin to be like, all right, I can get 1.3 potentially somewhere else. That's 300K. That's a lot. And Galvin has played a year. He's played great last year in a team that came last. And now he has Luai that, you know, he's played not. I don't think he's played as great as he did last year, but he's still playing fantastic. And he may feel entitled, but I'm kind of leaning closer to what he deserves. I think he deserves 1.2 million. If Dylan Brown is what right now, I think 90% of the people watching. Let's see, 90% of the people watching would take Galvin over Dylan Brown right now. So how can you say he's only worth 1 mil? It makes no sense. He's not. Dylan Brown, obviously Knights played overs. I get it, but that's 300K difference. And we already know Galvin is going to be better than Dylan Brown is, future-wise. Prospects for Galvin, where he can go. The leading pack is Parramatta. I think that's probably my leader. It seems incredible, these teams like that. Parramatta has a big fan base, and so do so many teams. How easy they can just generate luck on their own hand, that they lose a half of Dylan Brown at the start of the year, and within 7 rounds, they've potentially filled that spot and potentially have a better player than what Dylan Brown's going to be anyway, which is incredible. And one of the best young spines in the comp going up. I mean, we don't know what Alangi will turn into, but again, we don't know what Galvin will turn into, how good he'll be, and Riley Smith, we've seen how good he is, and they're all like 21, 22, 19. Galvin's still the youngest out of all of them, which is... Galvin's going to have like 3 years of NRL experience by the time it gets to like he's 21. He'll be like 2 years into his contract. A year into his contract, and he'll be 20. Or 21, sorry. That's insane. And then the dropping part, look, Tigers, fair enough. And Galvin's comments, I guess, around Benji, feedback on that is just... I feel like a lot of people have given Galvin backlash for that. Sure, like, I don't feel like you should go and disrespect your own coach, but I think, like, I understand to an extent. Benji is not, like... top tier coach. No one thinks he came last year. No one thinks he's a top tier coach, right? So, you know, it's not right to go against your coach. It's not right to say what he said. I'm not saying that, but everyone being like, nah, bro, Benji isn't a good coach. Let's just say it the way it is. He isn't good. He isn't Wayne. He isn't Madge. He isn't Cleary. He isn't even Seabold. All of those coaches, but. Again, when I'm saying Manly's Parra's the prospect, Riles, like, again, he hasn't proven anything. Parra's last right now. Is it going to be the same result as Benji? Like, doesn't make sense. So, I think that's enough about Galvin. Obviously, it's gut-wrenching to be a Tigers fan. He was our star. He's what's next. And we had such a great future ahead of us. But I can see both sides of the argument. If I was Tigers, they messed up straight up. And, you know, it's not a... easy decision to make, but who else were you really going to pay 1.2 million to? If you didn't keep Galvin, Latufanu in a few years, like you're hoping he'll develop like Galvin. And I think he's okay, but it's Galvin. I would have given him 1.2 straight up from Tigers, 6 mil for 5 years. If he doesn't take that, then wipe your hands clean, Tigers. Let him go. It's fine, but I think he would have, and this whole like continuity and learning from Benji and stuff would have just not been seen. Paper under the water. No one would have given a shit. So the money definitely didn't help. They just basically not lowballed, but rolled the dice and was like, all right, we'll give him 1 mil. I think a casual would have just been like 1 mil. Is that tough to say? I guess it might have been. I think like 1 mil was just like a very lazy type of bid from Tigers. He's not worth it. He's worth more, and I think he knows it, and that's why we've ended up where we are today. But That's enough about the news because we don't really talk about much of that on the podcast, but I'm sure everyone wanted to hear what I thought about Galvin. So, after 11 minutes, Jesus. All right, let's get into round one. Round 7, we have the Dragons and the Manly Warringah Seagulls, and of course, in true spirit for a Sane who's watching from the other side of the world, I have to go through ins and outs. Oh, NRL app. Asking me to sign up. What is this? Just give me the team list, brother. There is a few ins and outs. I don't know for Dragons, Manly, but overall there is. All right. Manly, Saab returns. Thank God. That's the only change. Good. Dragons lose. Aww. What the hell? Oh, good God. Oh, Money Man's out. What's the point? That would have been a great way to start your long weekend, watching Money Man score. Aw, Max Feeney. Oh, my God. Matt Feeney goes to the wing. That down Dragons. Egan Boyer named on the interchange despite leaving the field late. Yeah, he seems to be playing Dylan Egan. The line of 3.5, and this needs to be a segment, or it needs to be a t-shirt one day, I reckon. Is that it? I know Dragons will mess this up. Everything leans Dragons. From Turbo not being there 1. Manly losing back-to-back games 2. Manly having to travel all the way to Perth and coming back on a 5-day turnaround to play again at home against Dragons. Dragons off a big win against Titans. Dragons, fans all of a sudden have hope. And the people in the comments being like, give them credit. I'll give them credit if they beat Manly. How about that? They're going to lose. It's already said and done. I can't play this any other way than Manly 3.5. I know why it's 3. It's fine. I don't think I can... I know why it's 3. So it's not a problem for me. But I think people will draw to the 3 or once it pushes to 4 eventually. Be like, oh, Dragons are getting a try against Manly. They have this... And listen, Dragons are like here. Manly's up here. Simple. And it doesn't matter if they're on a 1-day turnaround. Manly is not at the level of Dragons. Dragons could prove me all wrong. And if they do, all the Dragons fans will come in the comments. But if they don't, which likely they won't, they will all disappear. Because, I know what's going to happen. Shout out to Zero Frost Brothers. I know you guys love a trip to Brookvale, but obviously this is on the Monday, it's Thursday night before Easter, so you probably won't be there. But yeah, I wouldn't go, boys. I can't see any other way other than going and playing Manly at 3.5. I think this is really short. Money Man's out. Saab's back. Manly back at home, which the only team that's gone there and obviously spanked them was Melbourne, which they beat anyone 100-0. This is a big turnaround spot for Manly, and they need to win games like this if they want to make the 8. And I think they still will, even if they lose. But just to get you back on the winner's circle, I think this is a good spread for Manly. Thursday night, back at home in Brookie. It's all the travel. That's all that's bugging these bookies right now. That their travel is so bad for Manly. They have to trip here, trip there, go play Cronulla, go to Perth, all of that. And I completely understand. It's a long flight. It's like 5 hours from Sydney to Perth. But I think they can go past that. I think Manly is just a tier above Dragons, and now the bookies have clearly given Dragons hope. This gives me similar vibes to round 1 when Dragons had hope against Dogs and weren't really there. Like, they came back towards the end, but Dogs swept the floor with them. And I think if Manly scored 30 points, Dragons are not going to get close to that. Manly bounced back in this for me. My play would be -3 on Manly. If you want to sprinkle a little bit on 13+, sure. I think you'll get a good price on Manly. And tip obviously is Manly. I can't see past Manly Seagulls. Obviously they could prove me all wrong, but I just don't think Dragons in this particular spot will just show that it's Dragons. This is what they are, and this is what they're going to come up with. A poor kicking game, forwards that are on and off here and there, that they sometimes play good and bad. A backline that doesn't even match up close to Manly with Matt Feeney and Sloan now as your wingers. Yeah, I'm good. I'm taking the Manly Seagulls in this one. That one was pretty short. Yeah, I thought so. It was only 5 minutes because there's not much to say. What can I say? I don't see Dragons at all in this fixture. I think it'll be a good watch, but I think Manly is going to cover the 3.5. I don't have coconut water today because it made me cough last time, so... Just water. The only thing I'll say, you've gotten up to this point, obviously you listen to Galvin and Dragons segment. Thank you for all the support on the podcast. It is, it will change back, of course, to the original version of it, but I think we're halfway. I think this is the 4th one I've done on my own. So thank you for all the support, and hope you guys enjoying the content. Playoffs start tomorrow for the NBA, so make sure you check out my day in the life. Everyone seems to enjoy those videos, mainly because I lose. Anyway, on to game 2 of Easter weekend, and I think, look, I don't think it's the game of the round purely because there's other good games, but I think it's the game of everyone's round that no one is going to miss this match. In the sense of, if you want to watch one game, it will be this one. So obviously I'm talking about the Bulldogs who return off their bye. One thing I'm actually searching up just now is predicted, because I don't want to say wrong information. Someone said to me at work that this is going to be like one of the biggest crowds. Yeah, Dogs officials are hopeful. Last weekend, 60,000. That is set to shredder. A record crowd expected for this one. Look, I agree. I think, like, to be honest, it deserves a record crowd. Let's get into the ins and outs of the Dogs-South game, but it's going to be an absolute spectacle. Anyone that's going, have a great time. It's going to be a great game. Make sure you get there early. Easter show's on as well. So, Dogs, I think everyone knows, but this is the main news. Burton returns from a 3-game injury. Kikau is part of the extended squad, but Isa returned. Most likely will play. Bailey Haywood goes to the bench, obviously. With Burton back in, Tupanua serves the suspension, is back on the bench. Taft's gone to 18th man. South had more news. Cody Walker returns from a hamstring injury to partner Latrell in the halves. Truly entertainment. Lewis Dodd named on the bench for his first NRL game. Don't know why. Another backline boost with Campbell returning from a calf injury for the injured Alex Johnson. Kepi will take his place after getting downgraded to careless tackle or judiciary on Tuesday night. Don't know. And I don't know how he got played down. Oh, is he actually in the lineup? I thought this guy got suspended, but anyway. Or maybe he will get suspended. It's Tuesday night, so we'll find out. Who cares, Kepi? And Jalen Sullivan's a serving his 1-match ban. Former Josh Schuster will be among the reserves after returning to the field, the New South Wales Cup on the weekend. Whew, lots of ins and outs, lots of entertaining ins and outs. Now, I don't think people expected Cody Walker to play. The line is hovering around -8, -9, and -10 for the mighty Bulldogs against this South side. Now, Bulldogs, like I've said, like the last couple of podcasts, especially through your bye, it's hard to play against them at this point. They are much superior to South, don't get me wrong. And they have, I guess, revenge a little bit. They don't really win a lot of these Good Friday games, if any. I don't remember the last time they won one. But obviously they were awful and Souths were good. But this is the first time I've seen Dogs favourite on a Good Friday in a long, long time. So Souths, on the other hand, do get a big boost in this game. And that's what's drawing the crowd. Those halves, like, it's going to be such an entertaining game, that Good Friday game, because of Walker and Latrell being there. Absolutely hilarious. From a spread perspective, I don't even think... If you had to tip a side, obviously you're going to tip Dogs. I don't think anyone can tip South based on going to Perth, coming back, even though half the team's changed with Walker and Campbell back in. But I don't think you could tip South. You have to tip Dogs. From a spread perspective, it's a lot harder. 10 points is vulnerable to a backdoor. 10 points is vulnerable to just South's, like, giving it a crack. And a good fixture that they've done well in. on a big event day with a huge crowd in a core stadium. But of course, Dogs could win this game. If you're on 9.5, win this game 10-0 realistically. Can South score? Now, one of the main things we got from South a lot during those seasons that they were doing great is the left edge offense, the ability to score on the left-hand side of the field. I haven't seen one team to defend that properly yet. And in the sense of if they play like that, we haven't seen anyone being able to do it. From Penrith to any other defense in the competition, they would concede points to South's left edge because of Cody Walker. Cody Walker's playing 7 this week, but I assume he's going to sweep across and Latrell will be like that. Like that's what's going to happen. Will Dogs be able to guard that side of the field with Crichton there? They should be able to. And I don't think it's going to be a big issue. But when you're talking about 10 points in a game that Dogs are expected to come back really strong, 5 wins in a row, you get Burton, Kikau, and Tupanua back. Kiraz, I know he played last week, but, Kiraz is technically back as well. There's no reason for, Dogs to lose. But will South keep it close? I'm kind of tossing and turning on this one. Because I don't know. I think the spread is right on the money at 10 because of the ins from South and the ins from Dogs. And what concerns me about the Dogs side, because I haven't said anything bad about them, that's why everyone's probably why didn't you just take -10? All you're saying is good things about Dogs, is the bye syndrome. I guess having the bye so early hasn't looked great for any team so far. Knights, well, they were a write-off, but they weren't great post-bye. Melbourne post-bye against Penrith weren't great. I'm trying to think of everyone's buys off the top of my head. Titans had a bye, surely. They did. Who had a bye last week and they were awful? Knights, yeah. Well, fucking Knights. Let me think of the other teams that have had a bye. Warriors had the bye week before. Yeah, Warriors actually had the week bye and they were awful. So if you go through every team that had this bye, they haven't played great after their bye. And usually it's because they're a bit rusty and they don't put things together. But this Dogs team's unique because they didn't have anyone in the first place. So the games that they were winning didn't have Burton or Kikau or Kiraz or anything like that. So it's a new combination altogether. And I think there's a bit of expectation from Dogs now. So there's going to be a big crowd. Everyone's going to be cheering for them. South also have a big fan base. But from a player perspective, it hurts me to say, and I'm sorry, Dogs fans, I think you'll win, but you won't win by more than 10. South have proven enough to me that they can score, and when put it together, it doesn't matter really who's different. You could have four Crichtons all on that edge. They'll find a way to crack it. South are that sort of team. South have flaws everywhere else. Don't get me wrong. Not being able to make meters, getting... awful defense, I get it, but they will get calls, they will get penalties, they will get offsides, they will get head highs, all that shit's going to happen. That's just the part of the game. You give at least 5-6 penalties, and if South get down there, I think they score. And Dogs are not a big scoring team, so I think at a spread of 10, I would take South. It's probably going to keep going out, so just wait. But tipping-wise, all over Dogs. My bet will probably not be South plus 10, but yeah, it might be. I don't know. I haven't really thought about what I'm going to play in this game. I'm excited just to watch it. I think this is one of the games I just cannot wait to watch. And I actually think both Good Friday games are actually great watches. I'll drink some water, and we'll get to the second game on Good Friday. All right. Game 2 on Good Friday. We have the Dolphins hosting the Melbourne Storm at Suncorp Stadium. What a game. Again, another great game. So Wolf rolls out the same 17 that got the job done in style against the Penrith Panthers. And Ray Stone has served his suspension for his high tackle as included as 18th man. Nothing special. Good news for Melbourne Storm. Jerome Hughes named despite sitting out the second half. So he clearly just literally didn't care about Warriors, which shows a lot about Warriors this week. Fa'alongo comes onto the wing for his first appearance of the season with Grant Anderson moving centres and Moses Leo suspended by a shoulder injury. Holy shit. Warbrick and Nelson remain sidelined to ongoing concerns following concussions, which is a shame for Melbourne. Now, it's shifted at 4 because of Hughes being named, and I expected him to be named. I expect him to be named. I think what people also need to look at, let me just look at the whole team. The bench has Wishart, which is obviously picks, and Garlic. Kane Bradley won't come in. Lazarus is there. Joe Chan. Okay. So there's not really a clear and out half that can come in for Hughes, which they don't really have one. Fa'alongo going to the wing. It's a lot of fun from Melbourne, to be honest. But at a spread of 14.5, you have to take Dolphins. They have hope now. And I think Melbourne now... I think everyone jumped the gun a little bit last week. Okay, Melbourne destroyed Manly. They're going to go home and not play great. No. They jumped the gun. It was 1 week later. And now everyone is so scared of even thinking about betting on the other side. But Dolphins are getting better. And like I've said, because of stupid Titans, they have hope now. And that could be, the season completely turns around. Am I getting too much hope because I've got a top 8 slip on Dolphins? A little bit, but I can't really lay it with Melbourne. Look, laying it with Melbourne usually wins you 90% of the time. You're not going to win a lot of games not laying it with Melbourne. But in this scenario, it's a little bit different. They played at home on Sunday, flying to Redcliffe, flying to Suncorp, Brisbane. Dolphins played at home, so they've been home the entire time. They're 1-17. They just beat Penrith. They haven't played since Thursday, so they have an 8-day turnaround compared to a 6-day turnaround with travel. And you expect them to just go and just lay down against the Melbourne side? Yes, Melbourne can score, but so can Dolphins. And the first couple of weeks, I didn't think that Dolphins could score, but Dolphins could score, and they've really dialed it in that they're able to score on offense. And Melbourne, they can absolutely blitz them. I'm not saying that they can't, but what I'm saying is 14 points with that, all of those information. Hughes is not going to, regardless he plays or not, he's not going to be 100%. They don't have Warbrick. They don't have Nelson. 14 is a lot of points. Tipping wise, there's no way I'm going to tip Dolphins. I don't have the balls for that. Maybe I do. I don't know. I haven't really done my tips so far, but just straight up, I don't think I have the balls to tip Dolphins and win this game against Melbourne. But 14 points is way too many for me. I think Dolphins have a lot more hope than everyone perceives that they do have. And Melbourne, on the other hand, now that they've pumped 2 teams in a row, and for some reason, I think they play someone else good next week. So let me just double check. They play South. Okay. I disagree with that statement. They do. They play the dirt of the sport. One of the dirts of the sport, even though I'm scared of them this week. But yeah, they go back home, right? So it's literally going to Suncorp as a hit and run. They're good in Queensland, 100% understandable. They're good at Suncorp. I get it. Dolphins just have too much hope. And it's not like you're getting only 6. It's not like you're only getting 10. It's not like you're getting 12. You're getting 14 points with Dolphins. That's a lot. And these big spreads with Melbourne typically do lose because they just annihilate you in the first half. But this one's on the road. And what this is saying to me is that Dolphins would be higher points-wise of 2 wins against this Melbourne team than Warriors were last week. And Warriors were in a 10 times worse. Well, they're off a bye, but they're not as good as Dolphins. I don't think anyone can be like, oh, no, Warriors are better than Dolphins. I think Dolphins are above them right now off their back-to-back wins. Big take, I guess, because they're not actually, but they will be at the end of the season. And so in Melbourne, this would be 18.5 for Dolphins. So 3 tries, that's a lot of points. And Dolphins, I think they've just got hope now. I think that win against Titans, then backing it up with a win against Penrith, gives them a lot more hope that we can actually save our season. And winning this game will definitely save their season, of course. They'll be 3-4, and they've beaten Penrith and Melbourne. So I think no one's going to say anything about that. But Do I think they'll win? Probably not. I think Melbourne get the job done, go up there, just get a win and come back home and destroy South. Because I think the games that they will dismantle a lot of teams are the ones at home. Obviously, unique that Manly game that they went on the road and absolutely annihilated Manly. But Para game and the Warriors game, they're the ones done in the first half. And that was just an annihilation. But on the road, I don't feel like that's going to happen. So this one... Melbourne head-to-head on tipping. Spread, I will take the Dolphins. Up the Fins, 14.5. That's a lot of points. And that probably will be my bet for Friday. But two great watching games. I don't think Dolphins are just going to go out there and give up. So I think it's going to be a good watch. And so do I think South. Do they both cover? Maybe not. They might not. It's pretty hard for me to say they're both going to cover. But I feel like the spreads are really high in a week that is going to be means a little bit more this Easter period. Like Good Friday, Friday night, all eyes will be peeled on Dolphins. All eyes will be peeled on Souths. All eyes will be peeled on Dogs and Melbourne. So it's going to be a great watch. Everyone's going to be watching these two matches on Good Friday. So, bit of water, and we'll get into Saturday's two games as well, because we only have two on Saturday because we have the Easter Monday Classic. 32 minutes. Fair enough. 3 games in. Oh, we talked about Galvin. That's why. I was going to say. It's 10 minutes. I talk too much. All right. We head to New Zealand for Warriors. Shout out to the G's. I haven't shouted out anyone. Shout out Matt. Shout out Chris Crius. Shout out Zerafos Brothers. I did shout out them. And shout out Giuseppe for being a Manly supporter. We go to Warriors and Brisbane. I said because I looked at the spread and I thought these guys were good. But anyway, clearly not. Everyone's now jumped off ship. And I feel like the Warriors fan wanted me to apologize or something. That wasn't going to happen. I didn't give a fuck. It's my podcast. Jesus. You guys came out us after they lost the Tigers. After they beat Tigers. Oh, bro, this. And you guys got another. Yeah, I was happy about it. Come fight me. I was happy they got smashed. Shout out the G's. The loss of James Fisher-Harris brings Jackson Ford to the front row. Jacob Laban. I like Jacob Laban. He's good. Chansey has entered concussion process because of, for God's sake. Tua Picky moves to number 1. They literally wrote that. Edward Cosi goes to the wing. Rocco Berry, 1 match bans. Capewell, shift to centre. Halasima. Oh, Halasima's in. That's good. Starting side of the back row. Tamari Martin has been added to the bench for the... Oh, that's interesting. Let's just start him. Broncos, one small change from Maguire starting side with Ricky back from his suspension. Jacevski is now serving a suspension. These two morons. They just swap fucking second rows. The second row is expected 8 weeks. Sergio Monday. Huh? Oh, he's serving his 1 month. The second row is expected to be out for 8 weeks in total. Okay, so there's 1 match ban and then 8 more weeks. Sure. After breaking his arm at training on ongoing surgery on Monday, Centre Jesse Arthurs has been named review downgrade from grade 1 to independent doctor during the Roosters game to a grade 2. New face, nice and smooth. He comes in for his first game since round 20. So does that mean that he's been downgraded so he's actually playing? Oh, yeah, okay. All right. At a spread of 8.5. It's hard to be positive in this one. How am I going to spin it that Warriors will cover this in an alternate universe? All right, Warriors side. I don't mind the changes. Look, no Fisher-Harris is like the backbone of your team. So I'm not saying anything. Chansey not being able to make 200 meters and Fisher-Harris not being able to make 200 tackles. Well, it feels like, or 200 meters, 200 tackles, whatever you want to say. It's not going to be easy. I do like that this week in particular, you are playing at home. If this was on the road, any number I would have laid. But at home, I know that the young boys that are in this team, Laban, Alasima, Leotawa, I'm probably going to get this name out, Tuapiki, those players, they're going to play a lot better at home. And Warriors last week, and I said it in the comments, I think a few comment replies, was it felt like they just wanted to go home last week, but like they didn't want to be in Melbourne, which is odd because they had a bye. But anyway, so I think the points might be value here. It's hard for me to say anything about Brisbane right now because they're so high variance. Warriors, I know what I'm going to get out of them. Shit. But that's not the point. That they're going to be awful most of the time on the road. Let's say it the way it is. Most of the time on the road, they're not going to be great. At home, I'm hoping they'll be better. And they have been better this year, especially at home. But the Warriors' scheduling isn't great, one. Two, how much do those young boys take out of what they lost last week? It was their first defeat outside of that Raiders game. Do they immediately bounce back and play great against Brisbane, or do they have a bit of that in them? Because Melbourne literally pulled their pants down and said, you know what, guys, you got three, fuck off. You're not 3-1, you're 3-2. Like, you guys are not to our tier. Get off our pitch, basically. And it's fine from a Warriors perspective because, like I said, they're 14th. Like, that's why I rated them 14th. They don't have halves. But this game, I know they're going to show up. I know that they're going to really try. I know they're going to have a lot of push through the middle. I know they have a particular backline now with the Halasima now, and they just looked fantastic. They're going to be good through there. But the Brisbane side is just way too talented. I can't tip Warriors. Like most of the underdogs this week, it's very hard to tip them. But I think, like, can Warriors cover the spread? Yeah. 8 is getting to a point. I think 10 is like the number I would look for if I was going for Warriors and be like, I'm going to take Warriors. 10 is like way too many. Brisbane off a loss against Roosters, have to travel all the way down. And kind of in my brain, they want to win, but the next game is more important. And one thing I didn't mention in the Dogs game, which also gives me like, all right, they're going to win by 6 or something, is next week's game. So obviously next Thursday, I don't know. We need something special for that. It's going to be an absolute banger of a game. So Brisbane hosts Bulldogs next week, and that's going to be a huge match. And Brisbane know that. They're going home and then coming from home, going to New Zealand and coming back home to play that game on Thursday night. And they play Saturday while Dogs play on Friday against South in the early window. So it's a bit of travel for Brisbane. Brisbane haven't travelled much, so don't worry. It's not going to hurt them and not going to injure them, but it's just like, it's a little annoying for them. So I think, like, overall, from a Brisbane perspective, if you think they're going to just go wipe the floor with Warriors, like, if they wipe the floor with Warriors fans, truly, your calling is last again. Like, I will come back on and be like, all right, I maybe was right. These guys can come last from day one. If they go and try, I'll be like, all right, they'll probably finish like 12th, 11th, 13th, somewhere there. Like, that's where Warriors will finish. But it's a very high, like, that sort of game. And Brisbane, I know Walsh is going to go and, I don't know, is Walsh really going to fire against his old club? I don't think he gives too much, like, hate towards Warriors. Played good for them. He just left and wanted to go back home. Like, I don't think there was anything there from a hate perspective, unlike some young players. We'll get to them on the Friday, Monday game. But I don't think there was much hate there. So from a betting perspective, this has got unders written all over it. Let me just check over unders. First thing I looked at this, I was like, what's the over unders? If this is like 50 or something, 48, almost 50. Woo! Warriors won't let you get to that. Like, I think that's a lot of Brisbane talking. So, from a betting perspective, Brisbane head-to-head or tip, like, that's it. Spread-wise, can Warriors lose by 10? Yeah, they can. I'm sorry, Warriors fans. I know I talked you guys out. It's a very hard spot. And I think that's a big loss, having no Chansey to make 200 meters and Fisher Harris make 200 tackles. That's a joke. I know he doesn't make 200 tackles. Yeah, I'm going to swallow the points with Brisbane. I feel like this is one that's going to go under the radar. I feel like everyone's going to swallow it with Dogs. Everyone's going to swallow it with Melbourne. Everyone's going to swallow it with Manly. And there might be 1 and 2 going into this. And then They'll swallow it with Brisbane, and the one that everyone's kind of, we don't really want to bet against Warriors on the road, like they're at home, he's just gonna win. Yeah. I'm gonna go Brisbane with the spread and Brisbane tip. Sorry, G's, you guys just don't look great. I think you guys will try, but can I see you guys losing by 10 or 12? Yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. You could lose by 6. Can you guys win? Probably not. Nah. Not with those halves. All right, on to the second game of Saturday. We're at 41 minutes, so maybe I need to pick it up, which is a first. Oh, this one's an easy one. I realized who's playing. Roosters host the Brisbane Broncos. No, I wish they were. Roosters just played them. Roosters host the Penrith Panthers back at Allianz Stadium after their 500 victory laps of Suncorp was completed. Mark Niwa, I'm not going to try and say his name, but the Union guy returns to fill in the void for Billy Smith's suspension. What do you get suspended for? From a cheekbone injury off the bench. After return, Victor Raleigh has been named to start lock. He's back in the team. Mitch Kenny returns from a shoulder injury to bolster the pack, while Casey McLean and Garner form a new centres pairing with Tungo moved to the bench. What? Ivan? Sure. Tungo's the problem. Jenkins on the wing. Here's your problem. Jack Cole has been listed among the reserves as he looks to return from a concussion. No, he doesn't. Ivan, don't even think about it. So you can clearly see what I'm going to bet on. At a spread of 3.5. And I feel like the ones that are close this week are not going to be close at all. Is that it? Roosters are Dragons. Roosters, in my mind, equal Dragons. They're both going to do the same shit this week. Win big last week. Roosters obviously bigger because they beat Brisbane. Win big. Think there's some sort of sick cunts that all of a sudden all their problems have alleviated. We have this kicking game. We can score these sort of tries. We have a brand new halfback from a Roosters perspective. Oh, we're gritty. We can offload from a Dragons perspective. We have Val. Listen, both of you teams are the exact same garbage. And following a victory is a defeat. And conveniently, because the next round's Anzac Day and you're both going to lose on the back of it, you're both going to be down. What are you guys, 3-2? Dragons have won 2 games. Yeah. 2-3, or 2-3, yeah, and 2-4 next week. It's obvious. I can't see anything else from you two idiots. One's worse than the other. Penrith off 5 losses in a row are a 3.5 spread with basically no Tungo for just stupid reasons, I would say. I can't believe they've dropped him for Garner and McLean. But anyway, yeah, Ivan, sure, he's the problem. That's the problem with your team. It's not the middle of the park just vacating for whoever wants to walk through it. But the other thing is, outside of the game that they just lost, Penrith, I keep saying Brisbane. Penrith typically do have the Roosters number outside of the one that they just lost. So I think in this case, I think everyone will think Roosters, similar to everyone's going to think Dragons, and they're both going to end up losing. I think the Penrith team, now that everyone knows they're garbage, this is when they're now under the radar. No one gives a shit, right? They're done. Like, I think the people are like, all right, they're second last, they're 1-5, sorry. They're done. They won't make the 8, guys. They won't make the 8, guys. They won't make the 8. We know they're going to make the 4, which means they're not going to win the comp. Like, everyone's like kind of not sick of them losing, but wanting something new. Like last week when they lost to Dolphins. Whoa, bro. They lost again, bro. Like my comments. Oh, bro, you said they'll win a finals game. They're not going to even make the finals. Yeah, I got it. I understand. I understand what I said. But, if they do make it, everyone's going to be like, oh, shit, we're playing Penrith, the 4-time champs. Like, that's why I said that. And now no one cares. No one cares. Everyone's like, oh, yeah. Penrith are shit now. Who cares, bro? They're not even worth speaking about. I've already spoken long enough about them. 4 minutes. Why am I speaking about Penrith? They were 4-time champions. Show some fucking respect, first of all. And second of all, this is what Penrith like. Obviously, they like to be expected to win, which we've seen. But now, to be underrated to a point that you're only 3.5 against Roosters with Kenny back, 1. 2, Roosters coming off that huge win against Brisbane, which you know, when they beat Penrith, how bad they were against Warriors the week after. It's the same. It's all the same. And everyone's going to jump on Roosters. All the Roosters fans are going to jump on. But how can you say that? No, listen. You guys are just not at that level. You can be, but you won't be. And Penrith are going to, now that they're completely dirted, no one thinks they're good, everyone thinks they're rubbish, are going to just go in. And it's fine. What can I say? I think they will win as well. So, for this perspective, tip the Penrith Panthers minus 3.5, maybe a bit of 13 plus, because Roosters, they're just retarded. They're just going to... I think this is... Should I make that? I did make this right at the start of the podcast, and everyone used to giggle when I used to do this. Yeah. Should I do it? Or I'll do it. Should I pick which 3 players would get sin bin in this game? Because they're going to get a sin bin. I guarantee it. Radley's got to be there. Lenny's got to be there. And Collins. It's easy. There you go. There's your 3. So one of those 3 will get sin binned or sent off in this game. Just stupidity. I know Roosters are going to do something dumb. It's just their DNA. So take Penrith. Don't even think about it. It might be the bet of the week, to be honest, because not that they're going to lose again. They can. They're that bad. But now it's it's not even fun anymore. We know they're garbage. So it's all right, move on. What's the next thing to talk about? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to move on to another dirt of the sport, Titans. Fuck Titans. Sorry, Clarkie. Your team's just shit. All right, let's get into them. I have some water. Oh. They look normal to me. They haven't done anything dumb yet. All right. Roosters. Titans, Raiders. Ins and outs. Skipper Tino's back from suspension. While Jojo Fafita thigh and bench forward Pez are also back on deck. Okay. So 2 Fasul Malawis and and 2 Fafitas. Oh, Titans. Such jokes. Philip Sami slides in the centers. Bone Formal works down to the back row. Perfect. Cleese Haas and Randall go to the bench. Brock goes suspended. Thank God. Fuck that cunt. Keeps just hitting cunts. Zach Hoskins returns from missing 4 games of hand injury. So Sung is out. Drops to the reserves. The only change from the team that smashed the Parramatta Eels in Darwin. Now, on Sportsbet, obviously these guys are asleep at the wheel. This is only 1.5, so that's what I can see. But I know Tab had it at 3, if not 4. That's what it should be. But again, it's very hard for me to say an argument for either of these teams. I think the next 2 games are very hard. Probably the hardest out of all of them. From a Titans perspective, look, Titans are easy. If you think Titans have given up, sit there and look at the wall or look at the camera like I am and just say this. Do you think Titans have given up? If your answer even says to you yes, then take Raiders and don't even think about it. If your answer thinks, all right, maybe they can try something, then take Titans. Because Raiders, they're good, but the travels, or I think they've had the worst. I think a lot of people are saying the Manly travel's been pretty bad and Cronulla, but bro, Raiders have been through the dirt with this travel. They've already gone to Townsville. They went to Darwin for no reason and won anyway. They've been to Vegas. They've been to Manly. They've been to Raiders, their home ground 3 times. And now they're in fucking Gold Coast. Awful travels. Absolutely the worst of it. And that's what, I'm just all right, eventually they have to, catch up with them. And it would be typical for it to be caught up against a Titans side who are shit, 1. 2, all of a sudden get players back. And I think the bigger piece for me is actually getting Jojo Fafita, if he plays, because he was lame last week and didn't play, getting those, like the outside backs back. Titans need those players to make meters from the back. And that's how they get on the roll. That's how Campbell looks good. That's how Brimson looks good. And they need those players to really push the back line back of Raiders. And Titans having Jojo Fafita come back. Sami goes to the centres. Fermor, all of a sudden, Fermor goes to second row. It looks better. Much better. The long kicking game of Fogarty does scare me. Titans don't really have that. So like a kicking game contest, Titans trying to kick long can't, and Fogarty kicks at 5,000 metres is like a bit of a concern against a good team. And Raiders' pack is typically good size-wise as well. And they showed against Para that they can just dominate the middle of the park and offload the ball. And, they have good outside backs and they do a lot of work. Like 1.5 is fairly short. I think this will get to 4 pre-game, if not more. And I think you can't take Titans until 6. Do I think they've given up? No, but you're not. Are you laying that much to say they could give up? And Titans, like, if you think Titans, you sat on the wall and talk to yourself, all right, Titans, then just take straight up. They're going to win or they're going to give up. Simple. Like, I think Titans are one of those teams that the points don't even mean anything. All right, yeah, they're going to lose by 2. Titans are going to lose this game by 2. Nah. Not gonna happen. They will either win or lose and get hammered. And I haven't said anyone this week will get hammered. So we are due one because I think every other game is going to be close. So maybe this one will be it. This could be it. Like, Titans are fairly short and a 2 p.m. Come on, Titans. What's the overs? It's Titans, bro. They can't defend. 52. Well, Raiders scored that on their own. Another very hard game to tip. Look, as soon as I seem to jump off these fucking inbred Titans, they seem to win. So I'm going to look at myself in the wall and say they haven't given up and take the points. Like, not the points, take straight up. I'm going to take them head-to-head. Like I said, they're going to win, aren't they? They look better. Tino's back. Raiders off of the worst travel I've ever seen in my entire life. And a 2 p.m. game in Gold Coast, probably going to be warm. Not that it matters to Raiders because they just went to Darwin. But did Raiders go home? Like a lot of people, I don't know the travel, and maybe people in the comments can let me know. Did the Raiders fly from Darwin all the way back home and now going to come back and play? Like, that's pretty hard, bro. Hard for me to go, all right, and Raiders are going to go there and win, and Titans are off back-to-back losses, and Titans have an extra day rest, and it's very hard for me to say. And Titans get Tino, but like there's a lot of points on the Titans side. So haven't really said a lot of underdogs this week, and I think a lot of them are just going to cover and lose, but I'm going to tip Titans. Raiders, same garbage. Now they have hope. Now they're not going to... Titans are literally going to do the opposite of Raiders. Every Raiders fan's going to come in and be like, Charles Croon's going to come in and be like, what the fuck? How can you say Titans? They're dirt, like he said last week. And then all the Titans fans are going to be like, nah, bro, we're not going to win. We're shit. Titans will win. All the Titans fans will come back. All the Raiders fans will disappear. It's just, I think I'm educated on this sport and known to the environment. I know what's going to happen. So I'm going to tip the Titans. Don't take the points. Just take them straight up. Tip Titans. Take Titans. That could be my upset alert. It actually is because I can't look at Knights, to be honest. I cannot look at Knights at all. Speaking of Knights, let's get into the second last game of the round. Knights host Sharks. All right, 4 p.m. at McDonald Jones. It turned out so well for them last time. Couple of changes in troops for Knights. First of all, Gamble's back. Guys is back. James Schiller is off concussion report and is good to go. Fantastic. Phoenix Crossland moves from halfback to hooker. He's played every position on the comp, so that's fine. And Jaden Brayley goes to the bench. Frizzell has been named prop. Tyrone Thompson reverting to the bench, sure. Matt Croker starts lock. after coming off the bench last week, and Matt Arthur drops out. Playmaker Cogger has been listed among the reserves as he looks back from a finger injury. Star prop Adam Fanua-Blake has been named despite leaving the field with a groin problem in Perth. Sharks stick to the same squad that got the job done against Manly. Carl Iro could need another 2 weeks away from his hamstring injury. So they are 1-17. And this is carbon copy of the game I just told you. How can you lay 8 with Sharks on their travel? They went to Perth, came all the way back. Adam Fanua-Blake, we know, is not 100%. Iro's not there. Katoa's not there. Hines is playing like an idiot. But it's Knights. What are you going to get out of Knights? They cannot physically score a try. It's actually comical how bad they are offensively. And until someone gives them a few tries, then they're not going to score. And the only problem I have with Sharks right now is they can win games by more, but they're not putting teams away. They could have put Manly away. They should have put South away. They should have put Cowboys away. They did, but they let them back towards the end. Dogs, they weren't really a chance. Penrith, they weren't really a chance. Again, they could have put Penrith away. They scored the first try. So they're not putting teams away. You're getting 8 points at home. Knights are the same garbage we've seen in the past. And they're awful, but with the injury cloud around Adam Fanua-Blake, if he's ruled out, then your forwards are comparable, like Nakora and Pierce Paul and Fisher Frizzell and the Hamlin Will, I guess, players. And like, it's just the same. And they have Callum Ponga. And typical Adam O'Brien to make sure his fans and everyone of Knights is okay, and Newcastle are going to come at me. All of Newcastle, the whole fucking local metropolitan is going to be in my comments because I said last week Knights suck, which they do. But this week, they're going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back. And you're getting 8 points. I think this is better than the Titans bet because Knights, at least, like, you're getting 8. You know what Knights are going to deliver. You have Kalen Ponga, and you're playing a Sharks team who just wants to go home. They may have been home. Because it's Newcastle, they probably went home to Cronulla. But 8 points at home, if it was on the road, this would have been 12. And Knights offensively, look, I already know they can't score. And they're the typical idiots to play Tigers, not be able to score at all. Play Titans, not be able to score at all. Play Dogs, not to be score at all. And then Sharks, all right, lose by 1. And then all of a sudden they think they could score. And we actually saw this fixture late last year. And a saying came on the podcast and said, Knights think they can score. That's often what happens. Knights at the moment think they can't score. But little do you know, they're going to just get a few fucking garbage tries this week and they'll be able to score again. It ebbs and flows with these morons. So I think the best thing you can do in this case is take the points with Knights. Between them and Titans, Knights could genuinely win. Sharks have not played great at all in any of their matches. And I think, like, to lay 8 points is a lot for Newcastle. They're atrocious. And it's ugly. And a lot of the bets this week are going to be ugly because the lines are one set in a direction that I think a lot of underdogs. There is a lot of points of value based on the underdog side, thinking that teams are going to give up. But I think it's a little early. And that's the essence of the whole round. That's why I'm like leaning the points but taking the favourite to win the game. I probably will tip Sharks at the end because Knights, like, from not scoring to being able to beat a good scoring team is one essence to another. But if you have the balls, take Knights straight up in your tipping comps because I know they're going to bounce back. Can't see them continuing like this. It can't be 4 weeks a row and a bye of just not doing anything. It's been a month that they've scored like 10 points. Come on, bro. I think they're going to score 20. That's a big ask. Yeah, they'll score 20 in this game. I think they'll score 20. Unders. What's the under? Actually, because Knights can't score, this should be unders. What's the unders? If they give something dumb. 41. Whoa. All right, there's your best bet. Fuck Knights. Just take overs. Knights are going to win. Knights are going to score. Listen, Knights will score. That's all you need from this stake. Knights will score. Tipping comps, tip Sharks. right there. Tip Sharks, but Knights will score. Don't worry. I believe in them. They will score this week of all weeks. Drink break, and then we'll go into the Easter Monday absolute classic. Almost finished my water as well, so perfect timing. We head to Combank Stadium for the final game of the round. All the talking points is everything off the field. Now let's talk about on the field with Tigers versus Parramatta. Convenient this game, convenient with everything going on, convenient that Galvin might go to Para as well. So obviously, oh my God. Obviously, back of the news that he'll be departing the club at the end of 26. Galvin has been dropped to New South Wales Cup. Just explained at the start of the podcast, so I'm not going to get into it. With Luai and Dewey combining in the halves, Naden is back from a knee injury and slides into Dewey's spot at centre. You can hear my voice about him. Laliki comes into the wing for Jarrell Skelton, who injured last week. Parramatta, biggest news of all, shout out Seabass, shout out Charlie. But unfortunately, when I saw this, I kind of saw this coming because, he's going to come back early, isn't he? Big boost for Parramatta is skipper and New South Wales halfback Mitch Moses named for his first game after suffering a stress fracture in his foot in this preseason. Jack Williams is also back from his knee injury, while Talangi returns to the back row with Dury and Moretti being pushed to the bench. Offengawi, Madison, Geimer, and that's interesting. Madison's out, and obviously Dean Hawkins is gone. So from a Para team perspective, just to make sure, it's the Kotonga and Tuolangi is the second rowers because there was a few changes on Parramatta. Backline-wise, obviously no Lomax, but Sean Russell, Bailey Simonson, they're still better than Tigers. At a spread of plus 1.5 and Tigers at $1.72. Will they come together and beat Para? No, they won't. Parramatta are shit. Off a 50-game loss, they've lost 2 of their games by 50. One of them almost in the first half, which was nuts. But they're so much better with him. And it's like night and day how much better he makes them. And I think people are still trying to think, okay, even with him, they're bad. No, they're not that bad. And the lineup is slowly taking form. You're kind of like, oh. Who's playing hooker? Who's playing? I saw Jowie was out. So who's playing? Oh, Jack Williams. Yeah, safe. Yeah. Slowly, they're building. Slowly, you're getting the better lineup. Slowly, you'll realize Lomax is back. And you'll be like, a backline of Addo-Carr, Penasini, Lomax, and Simonson. You'll be like, okay. Alungi at fullback. Okay. Dylan Brown and Moses in the halves. All right. Riley Smith playing hooker. Oh, shit. And I think the biggest thing, honestly, I was looking at Tigers at -3 and I was like, is that it? Para's awful. No Mitch. Mitch is not playing. Galvin's playing. Tigers are playing at home. We saw what happened when they first played because this fixture's been played before. They absolutely killed them. And everything changes because of this 19-year-old. So now that he's out and Mitch's, stress fracture is all good, he's back on deck. Perfect to play my Tigers. Yeah. And he typically plays well against his old team. There's so many pluses on the Parramatta side. I think there's still +2 in some spaces. But again, like I said about Titans, don't worry about the points. Just take Para. I think pre-game, this will lean favoritism for Para. Dewey and Galvin, a new combination. Laliki being in is not great either. Tigers, big win last week. They took a lot of confidence about that Knights game, of course, but playing Knights the way they played offense to a Para side with a New South Wales halfback, it's a very different scenario, and I feel like this unlocks Dylan Brown to another level that we haven't seen. He's been awful, but we know that with Moses, he plays so good. And I'm excited to see this spine. Spine-wise, Alungi, Riley Smith, Brown and Moses, it's better than Tigers. The halves are just like Moses will take over anyone. It's actually very close. It's literally it's up to Brown and Dewey. Brown's better than Dewey. Is Moses better than Luai? Yeah. So yeah, it's 2-2. But I think Para everywhere else. Are they better? We still have Terrell May. It's a very tight game. But I'm going to lean Para. I think Moses gives them a lot of hope. And the win obviously gives them a lot of hope. And another win here will give them a chance of maybe springboarding forward. And definitely, like I said, not coming last. I think Moses gives them enough for that. If Para do lose, I think then you can argue they can come last. Because obviously they still don't have Lomax, but he's center. It's not a big deal. Or winger, wherever. If you lose with Moses, I think all right, Para coming last is definitely a thing because now they're fucked. But Tigers, I think the teamwork will come, but not having Galvin is, I don't know. I feel like it will bring them together, but I don't know about the first game. All of a sudden they're going to be brought together. I doubt it. I think this is a bad spot. A lot of off-field drama. A lot of young players out there that are going to be in the same boat as Galvin. Maybe not in the same boat, not getting paid as much, but knowing that he's not going to be there, that they grew up with him, and they've seen him go through the routes, and he's not there. He's playing New South Wales. He's playing the game before. Is very mental thing than anything else. And Para elated. They could have the opportunity of swapping Dylan Brown for Galvin, which is such a plus. So I think in this case, tip Parramatta, take them head-to-head. It hurts me to say because I thought Tigers would get another win here, but I can't see it now. No Galvin plus Moses. I think that's enough for me to say Parramatta in this one. I think that wraps us up. Around an hour 7, so we're going over because of the Galvin drama, but usually we go an hour. But hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Thank you guys for all your comments and likes and all of that, all the views. It's been really good. So hope you guys enjoy this one. Make sure you put your comments down below. I love talking to you guys. I love hearing every single team's spiel as to what they think that their problem is or why they think they're good. It really entertains me because I like to see from a fan's perspective when I'm really an outsider. Obviously, I'm a Tigers fan through and through, but it's very different feeling dedication and having that love of a team that some of you guys have. It's actually admirable because for me, I'm all right, Galvin left. I maybe was upset for a couple hours and then I realized, oh, no, the club's being shit cunts. And then, we're going to find another Galvin. It is what it is. But I feel like a lot of Tigers fans, the last 2 days has just been head against the wall. Can't believe what's happened, which fair enough. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe, and peace.